looking at the papers we're getting in the mail, and we're like, our information is everywhere. Like a name and address, social security number, medical information, financial information, my kids' information, and you stack it up. And you think, I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna take scissors to it. That's not gonna do it. Maybe you have some old shredder and it's like strip cut and you can still see the numbers. Identity theft is rampant, right? You know, with all of those kind of digital kind of checkpoints, and they you can't get your information digitally. Well, you can pick up a piece of paper and they can take your identity that way. So we're busting clutter, we're protecting our identity with a shredder from HP, 100-sheet Autofeed, which means in the back, you can put 100 sheets right there, and then you walk away. You walk away, you get your coffee, you go watch your show, and it will automatically shred 100 sheets. In the front, if it has staples in it, no problem. If it's a credit card, no problem. Shred it right there. $119.99, you're getting $60 off. We have Cloud Blue, we have Juniper, Portobello, and black are our remaining colors. From HP, one of our electronics experts, Mr. Joe Harrison is joining us. Joe, hey buddy.
It's good to see you.
You too.
It's it's that time of year. We're doing taxes. You're right, and we got to shred that stuff, all that important information that's out there. And in case you don't own a business and you're just your individual family, you shred your taxes after 7 years. So go back 7 years. If you still have those hanging around, once you finish this year's taxes, it's time to shred it. Or if you're a business, you shred them after 10 years. There's no reason to hold that information anymore. But it's all that information that comes into our house. And I love this shredder because maybe you bought a shredder in the 90s or maybe you bought it in the early 2000s. This is the reason to upgrade. There is that manual mode where you just dump everything in and it'll go page by page, 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 10 at a time, a bunch of different pages. You don't even have to put them in straight, kind of put them in crooked, and that power, that HP motor just eats it up, and then it's gone. Manual mode makes it super easy. Now, if you get those credit cards, if you have those old credit cards, there's credit card offers, you just dump it in there and it shreds it to a fine shred. It is the thinnest, the smallest shred we've ever had, just one credit card after the next. That's the manual mode. But then what Ty showed you, it has that tray that opens up. And then it's this auto feeder, and it's got the number 100 on there, because now you can stack truly 100 pages in there, and it will go through one after the next, after the next. It's your medical records, it's your credit card statements, it's your billing cycles. It is all that information on there that somebody wants to have. The bad guys want to take this, because if somebody wants to become you, it only takes your name, an address, and a social. They can get a credit card, they can file taxes, they can do all that information. But the reason why we need to shred, the FTC says that we have to shred our documents, shred our information, because this is what the bad guys want in order to be able to capture your information, to capture your data. So they recommend you physically shred it. And if you've been doing this for the past, where you just take your piece of paper and then you rip it in half, you're like, yeah, that's no problem. Or maybe I'll do it into a third. The bad guys can still reach that. Take it into your HP, just let it eat up all that information, and now it's gone. And when you see the shreds that are coming out of this, this is the finest shred we've ever had. And I'm gonna slide over to the middle, because Ty, as you look through kind of like the evolution of shredding, the shreds that we have right here, this is still sold today. It's called strip cut.
Yes.
And when you see that, you're like, oh, okay, it's shredding into strips. Look, you can see the information that's still in there. You can read it. There was actually a Hollywood movie where they were trying to find someone's identity. They took the shreds together. Taped it back together. You can easily see that.
Okay.
Then they came out with the next type of shred, next type of cut. And you're like, okay, now it's down to 1-inch segments. But you can still see names on there. You can still see phone numbers. You can still read socials. It's still not good enough. Then they came out with the micro shred. Now we're getting better. Now we're talking thousands of shreds, but still, that information still exists.
And you know, Joe, sometimes you only need part of that social security number. Sometimes all they need is a few digits.
Yeah, what does your credit card company say? Hey, what's the last 4 digits of your social?
Yep.
Oh, you needed 4 digits, and you can become somebody else. But then you look at this. Brand new, first time ever, fine cut shredding. That's not hundreds. That's not thousands. That's probably 10 to 20,000 little pieces per page. Like, it will be virtually impossible to put all that together. So that's the reason why you shred stuff, because you're not just getting rid of the clutter. It's how you're protecting yourself in credit and everything that's really worth.
And if you notice, listen, Joe and I talked. Joe and I are both dads. We're both dads of teenagers in the house, and the amount of information I get now with their information on it, I'm like, how did they? That's my kid's name and birthday, where they go to school, stuff like that. That I'm just like, man, I'm not comfortable with that just being out out there, and shredding it is the only way to really secure, to have that peace of mind. Now, I know, listen, you probably didn't wake up this morning and say, you know what, I'm looking for a shredder. I'm gonna buy a shredder today. But you're listening and you're saying, this is making a lot of sense. And right now, during tax season, you're starting to notice all those documents. You're noticing all the clutter buildup. You're noticing all these things. This is the way to do it. Your new routine is gonna be going from the mailbox, walking over to your new HP Finecut Shredder and going, don't need that, shred. Don't need that, done, right? Those credit card offers, the information, done, are gonna be through the shredder. Whether it's in that kind of manual slot in the front because there's staples in there, you don't got to take the staples out. Credit card, you don't have to worry about that. That'll shred. Or 100 pages in the back, that fine cut shredding. Look, it is relatively small. It'll fit right in your office somewhere. It's got caster wheels if you want to move it around. I do want to point out one thing here, and I think it's super cool, but this clear, we don't sell it in the clear. I love this clear, but it's so cool to see it there. Yeah. But this is the Portobello color, but this is just to show you how fine cut that is right there.
And you do have a little window, so you will see the confetti drop as you're putting in all your different documents that are on there. And when you start to think, like, what should you shred? Well, the FTC puts out a list of the items that they recommend that you shred. And it is a long list, but it's an important list because you're protecting your identity. So they talk about there are many steps that consumers can take to minimize the risk of identity theft. Nobody wants to have their identity stolen. You should carefully guard that Social Security. You should shred your receipts, your copies of your credit card applications, and all those other sensitive documents. So when do you need to shred different things? Well, what you need to shred as soon as you get in the mailbox, it's all your sales and ATM receipts. It's also your credit card statements. That stuff, as soon as you see it, boom, shred it, get it out of there. Your utility bills has all that information on there. Now, what do you shred after a year? Well, you get rid of your pay stubs, your bank statements, and all that medical bills. You don't need that anymore. And at that 7-year mark, get rid of your tax documents. No longer needed. The IRS says, we're done with you after 7 years. You don't need it. It is time to shred it. And sometimes when you start collecting all this stuff, it's kind of therapeutic to get rid of the clutter.
It is.
Because you think about how much junk mail do you get over the course of a couple weeks to go through a stack, and you're like, ooh, I got room on my dining room table. I got room to get rid of it all. And it just takes, whether you're doing it one at a time, or you can do 10 sheets at a time, or using the 100 dock feeder in the back, where you're just doing 100 at a time. And by the way, the cycle on this, it's designed to run up to 30 minutes. So Ty, there are a lot of shredders where after a couple minutes, it gets too hot. Sometimes jams up. This thing has a 30-minute run cycle, so it's not like this is an entry-level model. This is the model to get rid of all that clutter in just a few minutes.
Look at that. No, people think I'm joking when I say the old shredder I had used to scare the dog, and I would have to go into the closet to do it so the dog wouldn't get to it, because it was so loud, and I could only use it for about 6 minutes at a time because it would overheat. This is so smooth. It's the latest technology in shredding. It's going to give you peace of mind. It's going to bust that clutter, and it's really the only way to do it. And look at that fine cut. I just want you to see how fine this, that's a great shot right there. Again, we put that kind of clear front on there so you can see it.
There's the piece of paper, and there's the shred. I mean, it takes it down to tens of thousands of pieces.
That's the extra large bin, too. So you can shred a lot before you have to empty it.
It's 4.5 gallons, so I mean, you're going to be shredding really months worth of stuff. And the thing I love about this HP design is that there are a lot of shredders where you have to lift off the top in order to get to the shreds to dump it. Nope, this one you just pull out that bin, and then you know when it's time to get rid of it because it has that peekaboo window that's on the front. So whether it's your junk mail, whether it's your credit cards, we know the importance of shredding. And I don't even do the shredding in my house. My kids love to do the shredding too. So it's one of those things where, get rid of it. Now, I know, Ty, you just traveled overseas. I traveled in the spring break. A lot of us do, but do you know that your room card has your credit card information on it too? Take those home and shred them. Yes.
Does it really?
It absolutely does. It has your name, your information on there. You didn't know that?
I think I left mine in Japan. I'm going to have to go back.
Yeah, go back and get it. I'm going to go back and get it and shred it. So credit cards, room keys, get rid of that because that is basically your personal wallet as you're walking around the hotel.
That's true. Take it home and shred it. I also want to show, can I show real quick?
Yeah.
Is this how you're throwing things away? Let's say, Joe, let's say it doesn't have your information on it, but this is how you're throwing things away right here. Does that look normal? We kind of crumple it up and throw it. Look at this compared to, I'm asking Joe to put one inside the bin there. I want you to see the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the difference, Joe.
No. Well, it's just, there's nothing safe about that at all. I mean, someone just has to unfold it, and now they've got all
and
your
look how much
personal
space
information.
it's taking up. And
It's so much info. It's so much, it takes up so much room. But the other thing, too, is if you just throw this in your trash can, and the trash can on a windy day blows that away, and someone's like, oh, there's Ty's Social Security information.
Yeah, halfway down the street.
Yeah, and if you put it on the street, someone can legally go into your trash can, dive for your information. How are they going to die for that? How are they going to put it back together?
Yeah,
You're trying to make it so complicated that someone will walk away. And having a Finecut shredder, they'll see that and think, okay, could I spend a month to try to piece that together? Maybe, maybe not, but it's not worth it at all. They're looking for people who just dump their information, just crinkle it up in a couple a couple pieces there.
Right.
This is going to just shred it to the finest material we've ever had.
And it is. It's therapeutic. I need to go through colors again because we're getting limited on some of the colors. This front right here, and of course the top, the one that Joe's using, this is our Portobello. So when you go to hsn.com and you put in 857616, that is the Portobello. 370 left in Portobello. Oh, geez, we started with 1,700.
Wow.
There's less than 400 remaining. Okay, the Juniper here, another limited color, great color, 270 remaining. This one's called Cloud Blue. Cloud Blue, I believe, is most limited right now. 160 in the Cloud Blue. Imagine this in your home office, a little bit of color. And then, of course, always popular, but we bring in the most of them, is the black as well. It is compact. It is easy to move. It's on caster wheels. If you have it in your home office, or maybe you want to move it into the living room and shred while you're watching TV, but remember, you can take 100 pages, put it in that back slot, and then you can walk away. Not only that, but it is fine cut shredding. It is fine cut. Look at this. You see this fine cut? You see how little these pieces it cuts up? So whether it's busting clutter, whether it's protecting yourself, that's incredible. Look at that shot right there.
Oh, I love that.
Incredible.
Especially, Ty, if you think about...
Look at that. Look at this piece of paper. Look how much that room taking up. Well, that's taking up a lot of room. No, forget that.
But you can unfold it. You can see exactly what that is.
Yeah, right.
If you bought a shredder, like, why do you want to upgrade? You might be thinking, I already have a shredder. I bought one 5 years ago from HSN. Well, the reason why, 5 years ago, this is the most common version. It was called a micro cut. And when you see the difference between micro cut in the last decade versus the brand new fine cut you're getting today, you can really see that data. You can read the numbers and digits and characters on that. You can clearly see it right there. Can you see any of that in the fine cut? It is virtually impossible. When we're shredding the exact same documents, it's got the exact same information, but because it is so fine, you can't see the information. And HP, they make this so easy. They're the number one here in printers, number one in computers. It's that computer, that overall user experience. So if you just have a single sheet, no problem. One sheet in there. If it's got staples in there, no problem. You can staple it up. If you want to put the envelopes, because you know it's junk mail, no problem. Put the envelope straight in there. It'll do that. So it makes it pretty easy. Do you have credit cards? Old credit cards, hotel keys, that data, you just get rid of it, no problem there. That's the manual mode. Now here's the lazy mode. You open this up. There's 100 page feeder in the back. Just put your 100 pages in there. Takes one after the next. It's your junk mail, it's your credit card documents, it's all that information that has your personal data, and it is shredding it to one of the smallest shreds we have ever had here at HSN.
Incredible. Medical documents, financial documents, things with kids' information on it, your information on it. You need to be shredding all of this. Joe, can I use those two at the same time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you want to shred something? You can throw a credit card in there.
Credit card in there while it's doing the 100 feed.
The front, the back,
auto.
it's just
incredible.
a monster.
That's incredible here. And then when you get it home, you'll want to celebrate. How do you celebrate, Joe? How do we celebrate? We have a confetti party. Yay! We celebrate with a confetti party. But look, D, come on, you can come on out, D. So they said, Ty, you can do it, but you're gonna have to clean up your mess. I'll clean it up, D. Oh, look how nice.
You're doing a great job, D.
Look how nice. Look at the confetti. That's your HP.
Oh, you're in so much trouble.
Guess what I'm doing in the break? I'm gonna clean up the floor. It's HP month. This is your time to get it, right?
Absolutely, best time to get it.
Joe, thank you so much for
Thanks
being here. Congratulations. Get your shredder now. Something else before we go. Whee! Whee! We're gonna talk about Let's Fit real quick. Can I talk about Let's Fit? Okay, follow me over here. Take a look at this Let's Fit watch. This is how you're gonna keep up with all of your activities, right? So there's 100 different sport modes on here. It's gonna track your steps. It's gonna track your sleep.